so I could plan my trip and be there with her for one of the happiest days of her life. Back then, I was doing my master and I was also working on my thesis, so I couldn't really plan my trip too much far in advance. So I ended up booking everything like a couple of weeks before. I was living in France at that time, and my boyfriend was here in Rotterdam. I was really looking forward to this trip because, first of all, I was going to go to the wedding and I was going to see my friends there and I was going to hang out with them. Second, I was going to see my family that I hadn't seen in so long. And third, I was going to show my boyfriend for the first time my home country. He was working already at that time, so he didn't have those many holiday days left. So we had to plan the trip only for 1 week. The wedding was on Saturday. So we decided to plan the trip leaving from Amsterdam on Friday morning, so we could arrive to Mexico Friday night. So then we would make it on time on the wedding, right? Well, wrong. Friday morning, we were at Schiphol Airport waiting for the flight when the first announcement that the flight was delayed happened. Then came the second, then came the third. It was super annoying, but it was not as annoying as when I read through the itinerary again, and I realized that we had a connection in Frankfurt of only 1 hour. So having flown from Europe to Mexico several times, I knew that this was not enough time because we have to go through migration to leave the EU, and also Frankfurt Airport is very big. So I started to freak out and completely stressed. So anyway, our flight got so delayed that it took off at the same time it was supposed to arrive to Frankfurt. The pilot flew like crazy. He was going very fast. Like you could feel the speed on the plane. I've never felt this before. This flight usually takes around 50 minutes, as far as I know. So this time it took 30 minutes. Thankfully, we only had carry-on luggage, so we could just run through the next plane. We had 10 minutes to go from the plane to the other gate. So as soon as we step out of the plane, we just ran like crazy. It was very funny because there were like other 3 people running with us. So we ran through stairs and through halls, and all of a sudden there was an elevator. So we all went inside and we were there catching our breath. And then one guy looked at me and my boyfriend and he was like, "Are you going to Mexico also?" And we were like, "Yes." And he was like, "Yeah, me too." So then the doors of the elevator opened and then we all ran together like for our lives. So we went through this huge hallway, and I think we even managed to go through migration. And at some point I was falling behind because I don't like to run. So then I also run very slow. So my boyfriend took all my backpack and my bags, but then I was still very far behind. So when we finally arrived to the gate, the plane was still there, but then in front of me, there was one of the ladies that was running. She was kneeling on the ground with her head down. And the other people were in front together with my boyfriend, talking to the airline worker that was telling them that we couldn't board the plane anymore because the gate was closed. So we had to go to the customer service desk to get a new ticket for tomorrow. It was so annoying to see the plane there and not being able to get in. But anyway, so we went back through migration to the help desk. And I was just thinking, this is not possible. Like, we cannot take the plane tomorrow because we are going to miss the wedding. And the wedding was starting on Saturday at 3 p.m. Mexico time. So we arrived with the help desk guy, and I explained him this. And he managed to find us a flight leaving from Munich that would arrive to Mexico City at 4 a.m. on Saturday. So that was okay, right? Yeah, a little bit. From Mexico City, we still had to take a bus to Querétaro. And from Querétaro, we still needed to go to my hometown. So that was around a 5-hour journey. So we managed to change our bus tickets that we were gonna take on Friday night to Saturday morning. And the flight was arriving at 4 a.m. So we could take the bus at 5:30 a.m., right? Well, wrong. So from Frankfurt, they flew us to Munich, where we managed to chill for a few hours. And then we finally got into a plane to Mexico City. We even got an upgrade to premium economy. So when I was on the plane, I was reading again the itinerary, and I realized that the plane actually arrived at 4:50 a.m. But previously, my brain decided to ignore the 50 minutes that actually made all the difference in the world. So we had only 40 minutes to leave the plane, run through Mexico City Airport, that is also very big, pass through migration, leave the arrivals, and then run to the bus stop. So once again, as soon as we arrived, we just ran for our lives, and we made it to the bus. In Querétaro, my parents were waiting for us, so they drove us to Irapuato, which is my hometown. So in Irapuato, I still needed to take a shower, go to my appointment with the hairstylist because I needed to do my makeup and my hair. And I needed to drive to Guanajuato. That was the city where the wedding was. That is 40 minutes drive from my hometown. I had to go to the Airbnb, drop my stuff, and then go to the church. So we run all through it without sleeping and barely eating. The makeup lady even put a bunch of makeup under my eyes because my face was like very tired. So we arrived to the church running. My friend was just outside with her dad about to go in, and we just run and we were like, okay, we're here. The wedding was lovely, and I was super happy of seeing all of my friends again and catch up with them after all these years of not seeing each other. We danced and enjoyed the party almost until 3 a.m. when both me and my boyfriend were just like super tired and we wanted to sleep. At the end of the night, we just high-fived each other and we said, we made it, and we just passed out. So the learning was, never book a flight with 1 hour connection. And if you're flying from Schiphol Airport, make it 3. Thank you.
Sorry. Yes, back to my role.
Yeah.
Let's give everybody a minute to give some feedback through the chat to Italja. Thank you. Very good. That ends our minute. Now, our second speaker, we haven't heard from her for some time, but I do remember very well the last few speeches because they were often about juridisch loket, law or a legal aid office within Rotterdam. I think that's the proper translation. Tonight, however, I think she has something else to share with us because the title is The Dutch on Ice, Observation from a Foreigner. Now, does that sound interesting? Welcome, Stefanie.
Thank you, Elle. My dearest fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, let me first say how happy I am to be with you today at this very lovely evening. And unlike Italja, I did not manage to escape my home country, Germany, to beautiful Mexico. I ended up right at one of Germany's neighboring countries, the Netherlands, where I've been ever since. And today I would like to report to you some of my observations I did during the Dutch winter in January and February, when the canals were frozen and the Dutch were ice skating. And in particular, two things caught my mind, and which rather caused also a cultural shock to me. First was the Dutch drink Glühwein, mulled wine, after Christmas. This is something impossible for a German. In German, you have tradition, rules, and you don't drink Glühwein after Christmas. This is something you do at a Christmas market during Christmas period, and you stop abruptly doing this at Christmas Eve, which is for us the 24th of December. It is not socially accepted to drink Glühwein after the 24th first. Second thing, what happens in Germany if the canals and lakes are frozen, we wait for the permission of a local authority to tell us, okay, it's safe to go on ice. The ice is thick enough because we don't want to hurt ourselves. Here in the Netherlands, also in Rotterdam, people were crazy ice skating on frozen canals, lakes, and they didn't seem to care how thick the ice is. I was horrified. So what I saw with my very own eyes, and also I read in the papers about it, I saw many YouTube videos about this as well. People ice skating gracefully on a frozen canal, and suddenly the ice cracks. And what happens next? You see a person plunging into the cold water. Emergency rooms were twice as full as usual because people found themselves with broken wrists and other injuries which they suffered during their fall. So I thought, are Dutch people crazy? What is this? But then, you know, I'm also a very positive thinking person. I thought, well, having a lovely drink next to an ice rink in the form of glühwein, it's nice. But maybe this ice skating is also kind of an act of bravery and commitment and really to persist the force of nature. So I thought, oh, maybe that's something good. And then I did also some research because I was wondering where this fascination comes from for Dutch and ice skating. So first, what I found out was this year was the very first time in 3 years where the canals were frozen. So good time for ice skating this year. Second, apparently, what I also read, the Dutch refer to ice skating as a fever, something you have to go, you do, and you just go and go ice skating because you don't know when this opportunity will come again. Third thing, apparently, I don't know if it's true, Dutch people, every one of them has a pair of ice skates at home, ready to be used when the canal's frozen over. Fourth thing, there is an ultra marathon, 200 kilometers long, so-called Elfstedentocht, or the 11 cities route. People go crazy there. It's along the Friesland province, I heard. And it is a true test of character to go there and compete and to compete it. And the fifth thing, of course, not surprisingly, the Dutch are really good in ice skating internationally. There's this ice skater, for instance, Erin Wüst, who won, she's only in her early 30s, 70 medals, out of which are 34 gold medals. Also, the Dutch teams, they won quite a lot of medals at the Winter Games in Sochi and Korea. They did not only won an ice skating, speed skating to be more precisely, not only a bronze or silver, but also gold medals. They won everything. So I thought, well, after telling you all this, maybe I should rethink a little bit my strategy. And I called my mom. And I said, Mom, you know, my ice skates, I think they're still in our basement. Could you send them? Because, you know, the next winter will come soon and I won't be ready to join my new community and hope that the ice won't break when I ice skate. Thank you.
Oh, what a lovely story. Thank you very much. Let's take a minute to give some feedback through the chat. I guess that finishes about the minute. Yes, I think so. Okay, well, we have a third speaker. Cecil has joined us again, for which we are quite grateful because that are always very good speeches. No pressure here, Cecil. Anyhow, tonight Cecil is going to speak about, I'm not sure, but his title is Why Are We So Critical? Why are we so critical? Let's hear from Cecil.
As long as I can remember, there were people who see me as paranoid or as a doom thinker. No, Cecil, what you say can never happen. Or no, Cecil, it cannot get as worse as you say. And often I was right. I wanted to be wrong, but I was right. And strangely enough, almost never changed the opinion that those people had of me. During the Corona crisis, I have been a little bit critical about our government. And the reaction of some people was that they put me into the corner of the anti-vaxxers. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but at the moment you put me in the group of the anti-vaxxers, you can ignore me. You don't have to listen to me anymore, and you don't have to think, could there be a kernel of truth in what Cecil has said? When I participated with the area contest, my speech was titled, I am an anti-vaxxer. I was quite nervous when I gave the speech because the last days and even the day itself, I got some information I had to weave into my speech. But also because I was afraid for the response of the people on my speech. Luckily, in this case, I was proved wrong. Most of the feedback I got was positive. Not everyone agreed with me, but most people didn't cut me down. There were a few exceptions, and I want to share two of them with you. One reaction was, Cecil, you are disrespectful. Millions of people are died, so you cannot speak about this. And then I think, well, Stalin and Mao killed tens of millions of people. So I'm not allowed to refer to them in a speech of mine? I think differently. The other reaction was about the vaccination. I shared that it was not as safe as we are made to believe. And one reaction was, you are irresponsible, Cecil. There is no risk at all, so you create unnecessary doubt, and because of you, people can die. And this was when it was already 1.5 months not allowed to give AstraZeneca to people above 65. I knew one woman who would have been injected with that, but because it was not allowed for people above 65, she is now still not vaccinated. And at the moment, it's even not allowed for people below 60. There's only a very small group is allowed to be given AstraZeneca. And if you can look at the Janssen vaccine, that is also suspended at the moment. And in this case, it's suspended on request of Janssen itself. So the company that makes a profit from the vaccination with Janssen has requested to suspend it. Then I think that there is really a reason to doubt that vaccine. And even Pfizer has some problems. So the reaction that it is humbug, what I said, is humbug itself, because there are shown problems with the vaccination. One thing I never said and is you should not take the vaccination. I said it in the area context and I say it now again. I don't tell people do not be vaccinated. But what I do say is I can understand that people do not want to be vaccinated. And what I also did not say is the vaccination has to be 100% safe, because that's impossible. Everything in life has risk. Even lying in your bed has risk. But be honest about it. If there is a low risk with the vaccination, while there is a high yield, that can be a good reason to be vaccinated. But be honest about it. If I look at myself, if the government had been honest, I would have had no problem with being vaccinated. But at the moment, I really do not know how I will respond at the moment I get the offer to be vaccinated. I don't know if I will say yes or if I will say no. And that's just because the way our government handled things. I want to invite you all to be more critical, not only about the corona crisis, not only about our government, but about a lot of things. Not everything, of course, but at the moment, something will impact your life greatly. Ask yourself then, should I be a little bit critical about what I'm told to do? Is it something that's correct and should I just do it? Or are there problems why I shouldn't do it? Or is it something in between that I should do it, but tweak it a little bit? Yes, that will on the short term, that will take a little bit of our brain power. But in the long term, that will yield great, great fruits. I wish you all many great harvests. Thank you.
Thank you, Cecil. Now, Cecil has actually requested whether we can send the feedback through the WhatsApp. For that matter, I've put the WhatsApp number in the chat. So please feel free not to use the chat, but if you want to use the WhatsApp. And for those from abroad, Craig, I'm not sure how easy that is for you. Okay, I think most people somehow have finished. Thank you very much. We now come to our to a very exciting element of our evening. The theme of tonight was the last one standing. And now we have to see how volatile our contributions will be. Yes, Indeed, Amaru, volatile is the word of the day. I thought, let me throw it in so it might remind people to try to squeeze it in, left or right. But as Toastmaster, this is the moment I can hand over to Sina, our table topic master. Welcome, Sina.
Thank you, Els. Thank you, everyone, giving me the opportunity to do the table topics tonight. Do you hear me, by the way? Yes? Okay. I think this is the right moment to do the table topics because not everyone had the opportunity to speak, and that's right, and that's the right moment for you to take the stage and do impromptu speaking. And guests are also very welcome to participate on this. You have probably done impromptu speaking many times in a formal or in an informal conversational settings. For example, answering questions during a job interview or joining a new project as a new team member and introducing yourself. And this is not going to be different for you. So the main purpose of impromptu speech is formulating quick, concise, and organized answer to make your point or convince others effectively. I will do the following. First, I need 3 participants to answer 3 questions. After that, I will reveal the rest of the questions. But first of all, let me share my screen. So do you see my screen? Okay. So what I will do, as I said, I will ask 3 questions, and I need 3 volunteers for that. And after that, I will reveal all the rest of the questions. I have 7 questions at the moment, and you can choose one of the colors, and then I will flip the card and read the answer. You have a few moments to prepare yourself and answer the question. After 1 minute, the timer will show the green card, and after 1.5 minutes, the yellow or the amber card, the amber color, and after 2 minutes, the red color will be shown by the timer. And please try to round up your answer within 2.5 minutes. Here comes the first question. Any volunteers? Please raise your hand. I cannot see everyone. Yes? Anyone? Come on, guys. Els, what color? Can you choose a color, please?
Pink.
What are the biggest changes you have experienced during the COVID-19? By the way, all the questions are related to COVID-19. So the floor is yours, Els. I will read the question once again. What are the biggest changes you have experienced during the COVID-19? Thank you, Els.
I have to confess, prior to COVID-19, I wasn't really very active during the weekends. I normally would joyfully stay at home and do my own stuff. But then suddenly COVID came and it became impossible to go somewhere. I felt very restricted. And where before it was kind of a choice I made not to go somewhere, now it was an obligation to stay at home, to go nowhere. That felt very uncomfortable, not nice at all. So I think the biggest change during the COVID crisis actually has been to reevaluate and evaluate again. How much do I cherish going somewhere else and seeing certain things and joining other groups? I took it for granted. I think I won't do that quickly again. Back to you.
Thank you, Els. I can relate to that. Is there anyone else who's willing to answer a question? Anyone? Maximilian, thank you.
I would like, yeah, the color blue.
Blue. So the question is, could we have prevented COVID-19 to reach the Netherlands from the past pandemics experiences? Your opinion? Do you understand the question?
If you would give some little explanation, that would be great.
Could we have prevented COVID-19 to reach the Netherlands from past pandemics? What I mean by that is when it started, actually, it was in China and everyone was looking at, and no one actually cared about it. Everyone thought, okay, it's not gonna reach the Netherlands, and within a very short period, we were all locked up.
Okay. Well, let me start it maybe in this way to say that I think no, because when we look at the world, at the whole world, I think there's no country in the world which has, I mean, which you can compare to the Netherlands. What I mean by that, not a small island where maybe a few thousand people live. No country in the world where live millions of people are, let's say, have somehow managed to prevent from COVID-19. At least what I saw so far. Therefore, I think it's not maybe a country problem, but a human problem, and I think maybe it's natural. So we are all humans who live on one planet, and I think a virus doesn't know the borders. So it's not only that he just can go over borders, over the whole world, and he can reach us every time. So therefore, I think actually that it could not be prevented, but there's still something which I think a lot of countries can blame on themselves, but which is maybe again human, that you can learn and maybe you can see that, well, there is something coming from. There is definitely also a lot of connection to China, and therefore it could reach us. What can we do in order to prevent, or at least to mitigate the damage? So to make the damage less harmful as it was. So therefore, I would answer this question as no, you could not prevent this, but you could definitely, made some adjustments, before in order to lower the harm. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maximilian. Thanks for sharing your opinion. Another volunteer? Fred, thank you, Fred. Can you choose a color, please?
Let's go to the gray zone.
Gray. Yes, did I have correctly gray?
Yes.
Here it comes. So the question is, what was your reaction when COVID-19 got closer to you and your closed ones? Do you need more explanation on this question, or do you get the question?
No, I'll get the question. First of all, when you look at COVID, I'm a little bit skeptical. And my thing is, when you're eating healthy food and you do enough to prevent it, then your body has enough bodies to fight the virus. But merely it was that the reactions from the outside world more panicked me than my own thoughts. Since a lot of older people were dying, people were already sick. There was no openness. There were a lot of things which were not logic. So when it got closer, I became cautious, but also angry. Because what caused it? Could we have prevented it? And we focus now this much on this COVID-19, but this was coming a long time ago. The way we treat our planet and our food gives us, it kills our immune system. So my reaction first was, if it's naturally, then we deserve it, because we treated our planet the wrong way, and this is how she pays back. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. That was a good answer. Thank you. I like your answer. So what I will do next is I will reveal the other questions, and yeah, I can if you wants to answer the last question, be the guest. Otherwise, I will choose one. Okay, Amora. So there we go. Will you choose a color, or should I reveal all the questions?
I want to choose a color. I want the green one.
Green, yes. So the question is, what's the first thing you will do when everything is normal again? The floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, this is a very interesting question because I've been spending some time thinking about this. There are so many things that I would love to do when everything is normal again. I would like to travel without any restrictions. I've been also talking with my friends about going to festivals, to concerts, to parties, enjoy music in a free way. But I think the first thing that I will do when everything is normal again is to visit my family in Argentina, because I was planning to go last year to visit them, but COVID arrived and my plans got disassembled, and I needed to change my plans. So I haven't seen them for a while, and this will be my plan for when everything will be normal again. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you. I'm dreaming also when everything becomes normal. So let's pray for that. So this is the table topics, and thanks everyone to be part of the table topics. And back to the Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tina. Am I right? This is the first time you were table topic master?
Yes, that's right.
Well done. I really enjoyed it. Very nice preparation with all those cards. So thank you. As we continue this evening, we come to also an important element, which is the evaluation, as we as speakers would like to learn and to improve ourselves. So for every speech, there has been an evaluator, and the first evaluator of tonight is Fred. Fred, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Els. For Italia, the day I ran from Germany to Mexico, it looked like being volatile, going with the speed, but your speech was as well. what you excelled is you lived the story. You were smiling, you had eye contact, you saw the people react, and you were actually reliving the memory. But what you made it work in is to start giving your speeches in a lower pace. I know when you go to Latin speaking countries like in the Mediterranean or South America or Mexico, it's like it's like the Mexican spring beach. It goes very fast, very emotions, and that's great, but not in a speech. You have to bring the story at a lower pace so that people, you need to be aware not to run through the speech. It seems that you were giving the speech while running from Germany to Mexico. So give yourselves time and try to breathe. Also, due to that, you need to stop using the words so and right. I think the word so you counted more as 25 times. The word and about 8 times, and the word right, I think about 7 times. I started counting at some point. So when you bring your speech in regards to speed, work on to get or you speak on a lower pace, bringing it. Because if you bring it with lower pace, you can make variation in tone, in volume, which when and pauses, of course. Then you will give your story even more effect, and you don't have to use the word so much. To close it, it was a passionful speech, and but it tended to be volatile, and I think this can be brought more, and we get to bring the story at a better way. That's things to work on. But already what I said, the things is to learn is how to crash it, because then you learn the most. Thank you for your speech, and it was really enjoying to hear your speech.
Well done. Thank you, Fred. As you may remember, after having heard the run from Germany to Mexico, we then heard how the Dutch are skating. Let's hear the evaluation of Magdalena.
Thank you, Els. Hello, everybody. Stefanie, first of all, it's good to see you again. Yeah, we missed you, so I hope we'll see you more often. I had a pleasure to be evaluator during your icebreaker, and I have to say that definitely I can see that you're improving. And thank you for that topic, because I think for everyone who came to Netherlands, it's very close. And definitely ice skating, I had the same situation as you had, that I was scared why people are on the ice. There's so much water still. But this year, actually, I did it by myself and I enjoyed a lot. I really enjoyed the examples which you gave of that cultural differences. And honestly, I would like to even hear more. So you concentrated a lot on skating, but it would be even nicer to hear your point of view. You presented it in a really friendly and accessible way. So I think everyone enjoyed it, even Dutch people who can hear what is different. You were really present and like aware of audience. So because it's online, it's very difficult to do that, but definitely you did it very well. What you could maybe improve a little bit, it's pace yourself? I know you already have done it because the first speech was like super, super fast, but there is maybe still a little bit to work on it. Thank you very much for your speech. It was really, really enjoyable speech. Thank you. Back to Toastmaster.
Thank you.
Thank you, Magdalena, for the evaluation of Stefanie and our ice skating as such. Our third speaker was Cecil, and I have the honor to evaluate his speech. So, Cecil, I know you are an accomplished speaker, and therefore our expectations are somehow high. Did they meet those expectations? Are we allowed to be as critical as you want us to be? Okay. Well, what can I say? I felt actually that your speech had a good structure, and it was very current, very applicable. Everybody who has stayed in the Netherlands for some time can understand the situation that we are facing with vaccines which are recommended, decided to give to certain groups and withdraws again, and oh no. So yes, familiar pattern there. You brought it, in my opinion, quite nicely. And I must remark on some good English words. I know you might not have used volatile. It's somehow a hard word to mix in, but I heard paranoid and humbug, and I'm sure I've forgotten a few, but on several occasions I said, that's a lovely use of English. Now, what did I miss? One, I missed that perhaps you could have asked us as audience from, do you feel you are critical? And when do you feel you should be critical? On which occasion does a critical mindset be most applicable? I missed that a bit, that we reflected so that we somehow could have taken on stronger the points that you made. And then you raise it as a question. So I understand it at one side, because yes, for sure people will ask, why are you so critical, Cecil? But did you now answer that question? Yes, to an extent. You want the speaker to be honest, but at the same time, I think you want to understand, to grasp what the reasoning is behind certain decisions. And it might be, but that's my interpretation, to an extent that for you, authority is not a given. If the Ministry of Health says this is how we should do it, you do not necessarily accept it because he is in the position of a Minister of Health. You still feel that even if we have an authority, we can be critical and wonder, can we follow what he is bringing, and do we agree with him? Your last strong point is that you actually ended with a call to action, which often we miss. Not only did you give us several examples where critical thinking is important, but you also ask us as an audience to follow your example and at times be critical as well. Thank you very much, Cecil. Now, fortunately for me, I can now hand over to the general evaluator who can shortly take the lead now. Welcome, Maximilian.
Thank you very much, dear Toastmaster. general evaluation, so time to generally learn about this meeting. And I really have to say, I felt the whole meeting, it was a mix of a relaxing, humorous meeting while also learning meeting. If I would speak with the speeches, we had two funny stories in the beginning were really powerful, where you just run to the airplane, or where you feel the speed, or like the changes. And also from Germany, I have also to say I can really agree with that. So with the cultural differences, so we had a really, let's say, humorous start, and then also with Cecil's speech, we really felt there was a learning with the critical thinking there. And this mix, this is actually the best way, what I feel like what we can take with us. So this is the feeling what I had in general from this meeting. I would like to go next, that things that I would like to point out is from the Toastmasters who started, of course, the meeting. And what I really liked was that during this meeting, that the word what was introduced by the grammarian Amaro, that she reminded us as well. Well, use the word volatile, use it again. And this is actually something which helped, because I observed that we all started to use it more and more. What I also liked in general was, even if the start was kind of chaotic, volatile a bit, it was really, I would say, it was great improvisation and great courage also from from Amaro from Italia and else, who then said, well, I have already a role, but I will take a second role. I will be the timer, I will be the eye counter, or I will take again and make another evaluation. So all of that, this is really what went well. And of course, to this last point, what I mentioned, of course, it's a sign that with the preparation, there may be some different reasons for that we didn't have an evaluator, the third evaluator in the beginning and second, that there was no R counter or timer. There may be several reasons for that. In general, of course, it could help to start the meeting on time, because we started 5 minutes late. And what I think that what I could maybe suggest how to make it better is maybe to make a kind of buffer, like from 2 or 3 minutes in the beginning, that we started 23. This would maybe help also to all the members can join and they are fine to the meeting. So this is maybe something which could, let the meeting start on time. Overall, also great job, I have really to say, was from the whole mix what we had with the humors and the learning aspect that we had. And as the last point, I would then of course then ask as well the timer for the time indication, for the time evaluation. Italia? Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you listened to me. Sorry. Thank you, Maximilian. All right. This meeting, we did very well in terms of time, I think. Everybody was just very well in their time limit. So that's great. It's actually also early compared to usually. Oh, sorry. I'm having 2 laptops here. Okay, so the first speech, which was mine, I did 6 minutes and 31 seconds. So yay. Stefanie made 4 minutes and 28 seconds. Cecil was 6 minutes and 45 seconds. It was all within time. Regarding table topics, which they usually have between 1 and 2 minutes, Maximilian talked for 1 minute and 40 seconds. Fred talked for 1 minute and 38 seconds. And Amaru did 1 minute and 19 seconds. I think Els also did a table topics, but my computer crashed, so I was not able to take time. Sorry about that. With evaluations, Fred evaluate me for 3 minutes and 11 seconds. Magdalena did 1 minute and 50 seconds, and Els talked for 3 minutes and 41 seconds. So just a little bit over time, but all good. Maximilian, who was the last one, did 3 minutes. I was not sure if I had to take time for that, but I did. So 3 minutes and 12 seconds, Maximilian. Thank you. Back to you.
And then, of course, I would also like the accountant and the grammarian to present her report.
Thank you to everyone. Tonight was a great night. We all did a very good use, made a very good use of English. Italja she didn't have any mistakes regarding to the language, but as Fred highlighted before, she should be more careful with the use of fillers as so, like, and super. In the case of Stefanie, I only counted 5 fillers, but she did 3 small mistakes while talking. She said in German instead of Germany, how thick the ice is instead of was, and she didn't only won instead of win. In the case of Cecil, I only counted 6 fillers, and he mentioned all the people are died instead of dead, or I'm not entirely sure which conjugation you wanted to use there, but that was not the correct one. And do not be vaccinated instead of getting vaccinated. Following to Cecil, we have Sina. I counted 16 fillers, but it was pretty okay with the use of English. And I counted then I counted for Maximilian 10 fillers as well during the whole evening, which was pretty okay as well. I also encourage Maximilian and Fred to use gender neutral pronouns. I'm getting very conscious about it, and they use he for referring to COVID-19 and she to referring to the planet. And that was basically my report of tonight. Thank you. Back to you, Maximilian.
Thank you very much, Amaro. And yeah, what should I say? I think every one of us can take something from this meeting, which is then, of course, counting as a successful meeting. Therefore, I would like to give the word back to the Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you, Maximilian. Very nice to hear all the feedback, but we also have 2 guests and 1 new member. Esther is our new member, but in particular, the 2 guests, Thierry and Craig. Perhaps I can first ask Thierry, how did you find us and what did you think about the evening?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you very much for me to have a chance to talk. I know this event from my friend who attend for a long time Toastmaster. And I could not attend because of my family. And online session is good opportunity for me to connect to the world, I think. And in terms of today, I really enjoy the meeting and I learned a lot and I took notes, the mistakes as well as the good thing I could observe. In general, I could say that it is really interesting. I just observe how you organize the meeting and how the speakers try to speak and inspire us. And I love the story of Stefanie. it's really interesting for me, not only the story, but also I learned a lot. And I also love Italy. Your story inspired me a lot. I would like to go to Mexico. One thing I could like to add, perhaps could be helpful for you, like a body language. Somehow when you talk about, I'm very happy, I was happy, but the way how you express is not happy. Or when you talk about, I'm tired, but you laugh. So it is opposite with what you want to say. And if you look at that and pay attention to this point, I think it's a really great speech. And yeah, I like the last speech too, because it is a somehow very interesting topic, and people do not tend to care about this topic a lot. But in practice, critical thinking is really important, and I think it's a really interesting topic to learn too. So, and in general, it's a great evening, I could say. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nice to hear from you, and welcome for our next meeting, which is in 2 weeks' time again. Well, can I also ask Craig what he thought of the second night that you joined us?
Thank you very much for having me. I thoroughly enjoyed the meeting. It went by so fast. I was sitting here actually thinking when I heard Thuya speaking, because that is so true, Thuya, because that's one of the things Toastmasters, I guess, have in their mind. It's so difficult to do facial expressions, try to give a speech, try to remember the speech and deliver it, especially in this format. I've always been hearing that. But I was sitting here thinking, I remember when I used to drop into a room like this where it only had 12 people in it when we started last year, and I just basically backed out of the room because I thought it was much better when we had like 25 to 30 people in a room. But then I've come to learn that actually being in a smaller group like this, it's a lot of fun, because then you have a table topics master that can pretty much ask everybody a question. You get to really, you know, how do you say, you have that connection with people, which I know people say we don't really have this online, but you can have a connection. You can meet people like Thuya said, because like for me, when this all began online last year in March, I was just like, okay, I'm doing a meeting here on a Thursday. I did another one on a Friday in the Czech Republic because I didn't know any Toastmasters outside of here where I live. And I was so nervous to go to Czech Republic, but like after a year now, they know me in the Czech Republic. But it is a good opportunity to meet people, to practice your roles and everything in Toastmasters. And the only thing two things I have to say. Magdalena, can you please unmute yourself? I'm going to give you a short workshop. Yes, because you stated in your evaluation that you really, 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 really liked the speech. But what did you like about the speech? Only reason why I ask you that, because I went to a meeting over, I think it was at Toastmasters Antwerpen, and it was a mini workshop. And the guy asked the lady that when she said that in her speech, what is it that you really, really like? And what it is give a little bit more explanation. Like, did you like the hand gestures? Did you like the way she spoke? You know, just something that you basically like is what we look forward to.
Yeah, okay. I don't like speaking. That's the one reason why I'm here. And that's why I always give a really short answers.
Yeah, because see, now I'm walking away. I don't know what you really, really liked about her speech. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but that's the way. That's why I'm going to write it in the form.
But the audience wants to know. Draw us in. Yes.
Okay.
You don't have to give all of the points, but just draw us in. Yeah, just tell us what you really liked about the speech. Yeah.
I really like the story because I feel the same. I felt exactly the same. So I could feel what you had at that moment when you saw the people skating on almost water.
Yeah, what was it? Was it shock? Were you in shock? Like, wow, are they actually skating? You know, that's the type of expressions that Thuya was talking about, having in front of the camera, like, wow, you know, just really get energetic. But I know that's difficult for people to do because I actually have a theater background. So there are a lot of things I know about techniques, hand gestures, breathing, your vocal variety and using your voice and actually warming up your voice before you speak, because that's what I did on Monday at my Toastmaster Club when I was a Toastmaster. Before I started, I said, let's stretch, let's stretch. Warm up your vocals, go, ah, because that helps release the air out of your voice and stop those filler words when you're speaking. But yes, and the last thing I have to say is, because I always say this when I go to the States, Stefanie, Magdalena, Cecil, you didn't have your names at the beginning. Who was speaker number 1, speaker number 2, speaker number 3? And Senya, you didn't put in front of your name, you were the table topics master. And Amura, you didn't put that you were all county and grammarian, because that does help when you have visitors that come into the room to see, especially if we don't get the agenda, if we pop into the room maybe 2 or 3 minutes late. But yes, enjoy this format. I know it's different. And thank you very much. And I told that to Adriana the other day. Fred, thank you very much for doing the promotion on the Odyssey project. You're doing a fantastic job. I let her know, because this time around, for some strange reason, I didn't get 3 mentees underneath me. I ended up just only getting 2, but 1 is going to be in my next cycle. But yes, great job. And I actually enjoyed the meeting, and thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Craig, for your lovely input and your explanation and drawing out Magdalena. Well done. Okay. I feel as a Toastmaster, I've come to the end of my role. However, there is still club business. I quickly take that opportunity to say that there are still some speech slots. So if there are among us who would like to speak next time, please let me know and I give you a speech slot. Okay. That was it for me as a VP. And now I hand over to Fred for other club business.
Yes, thank you, Els. And indeed, it was a great evening. We learned a lot. We had a lot of fun, and we made mistakes, but that's the way we grow, right? When you don't make mistakes, you don't do anything. So let's make mistakes and have fun doing it and learning while it. When coming to club business, first of all, I keep on hammering on it, but our end term is nearing as executive team of our club. So I already have been a president for almost 1.5 years, and I am mandatory to leave my chair. So I need someone who will step up and pick the leader role and to fulfill my role as president of the club. So, and continue our club. And the same is for Els. She is our VPE, but she's also going to step down as a VPE. And of course, we try to stay in the club as well as board, as executive. As president, I will be the IPPP, immediate past president. But I would like to see you step up. And first of all, who is to volunteer here as an executive team. So let us know so that we can also make elections here before July the 1st. And we can also transfer our tasks and assist you as good as possible. Second, as you may have noticed in the mail, I tried to start up Speechcraft for 10 people, 10 Speechcrafters, to get new members to join our club. And I already found Faisal and Helmi to help me, and as well as Amaru to assist me for the Speechcraft programs. I think this is very educational as well, and I hope that a lot of people can help me as well from my own club, but also from other clubs, because it's also a learning process. It's also a part when you want to become a DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster. I think it's the highest title you can get as a Toastmaster, but it's a learning process, and to empower people to join our club so that we become greater and learn even more, because also from new people we learn. And I think that was the board thing. I think that I got everything right now covered. Last thing, of course, I have put myself available as area director. I'm nominated for area E3, so it's our area. So that's and I will be the final vote on the 8th of May. This will mean that I also have to look for the other clubs which are in our area. But of course, we want to grow as well. And I think it's even better because together as the whole area, we can also achieve more as clubs together to get more members, to get us known out there. And that's, I think, they want to close it with that. I don't know whether this month we have a 5th Thursday. We still have not decided what to do because of the speeches. Normally, we have a 5th Thursday for the additional. Last year we had us in summer. We went to the park, which was really nice. And the last time online we had an instructional video a workshop online. We will figure it out. So this way, I thank you all for this evening. I think now everything is said. Else, I look at you for the yes. So I thank you all, and please bear in mind we have a commitment. Right? There's a Toastmasters province. We have our core values, but also our commitments. And don't forget, Toastmasters is not about public speaking. Public speaking is only a tool for becoming a leader. And becoming a leader is stepping up the plate and take up a role. This, I want to close this evening. And thank you all for participating and being here, because that's count. Thank you all.
Very good. Very good.
Good. There may be some chit chat if you want to talk. we do it not a lot, of course, because in other clubs normally we have to. You could go to the bar when you go to the Rotterdam North. They have their own bar. We unfortunately we don't. Here we can get our own beer, our own cup of tea, of course, and we can have a virtual beer. And in this way, I also yes, and in this way, of course, you can make we can network. Of course, it's really great. So in this case, I call. Oh, have a moment. I have to if I have to find. No, it's not it. It's not it. I call the bar for open for we can chit chat. You know, that's.
I've got.